Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with another transfer talk rumour roundup special. Make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 6,000 subscribers. I think just over 300 to go, so we're not far off. I'm sure we can do it. So like, subscribe, and get your comments in. There's been plenty of transfer rumours already across the Premier League, and Aston Villa are at the front of that queue as well. And it has been confirmed today. Now, you know how we like to sign these up-and-coming young players from across Europe. And I did a little feature on this, I think maybe a week or two ago, about Zepequino Redmond of Feyenoord. And it looks like Aston Villa have agreed a 4-year deal with the 18-year-old Feyenoord striker, who has now become a free agent. And now he made his debut for Feyenoord in November of last year, and is considered a big emerging talent by Aston Villa. And obviously we lost John Duran, or sold John Duran for a huge profit at, I think it was 20, maybe 21 at the time when we sold him. And now it looks like we're signing another highly rated young striker to come in and, I imagine, just develop. Potentially, I mean, who knows? He might play in the first team. Now we've got Europa League football, could be an opportunity to play some younger players, particularly in some of the games against maybe slightly lesser opposition. So that could be interesting, or whether he goes out on loan for a season and then see how he gets on. We've done that with numerous other players, Nedeljkovic being the most recent one, and one or two others going out on loan and potentially even sell for big money if we don't think he's going to be quite right for the first team. We've obviously got Ozcan coming in the summer as well, who's a highly rated centre-back, and we're trying to tie up a deal for Sver Nipan of Rosenborg, who I do believe is an extremely exciting talent. And that's not to forget the under-18 side, the treble-winning under-18 sides, I might add, who have so many highly rated players, Tristan Rowe, George Hemmings, to name a few, Mason Kotcher as well. So some really, really, really interesting young players for Aston Villa that I'm sure will either go on to big things and will obviously generate a lot of money for the club. So this one could be an exciting signing for the future. Now, in terms of maybe a little bit more of an experienced striker, and we know there is a potential of us losing Ollie Watkins or selling Ollie Watkins, but there's also potential of us needing a second striker for him, and maybe someone who isn't necessarily going to play every single game, maybe someone who is going to be wanting to develop. And it's emerged that Emegha of Strasbourg is another target that is on Aston Villa's radar. Now, he is 22 years of age and started his career at Jong Sparta, then played for Sparta Rotterdam, Antwerp, Sturm Graz, from 22 to 2023, scoring 9 goals in 31 appearances, and has been at Strasbourg since 2023, where he's scored 22 goals in 55 games and has represented Netherlands from under 15s right up to under 21 level, and is probably not too far away from a full cap. He signed a 4-year deal on the 22nd of July 2023. So he now runs out obviously in 2027. So 2 years left. So that would lead to believe that Strasbourg were probably looking to sell him for, I guess, the highest value they can at this moment in time. So I do believe he's probably being looked at by numerous other clubs as well. I think Strasbourg have done well under, I believe it's Liam Rosenior, who's done pretty well. Now, in Ligue 1 this season, 27 appearances, 27 starts. Look at his heat map. Not hugely influential across the pitch, but I imagine knows exactly where the goal is. And 27 starts, 14 goals is a pretty decent return. 25 big chances missed, though. Now, again, who else do we talk about getting frustrating Aston Villa supporters with big chances missed? Now, he looks like he's very much a box striker. 13 of his 14 league goals coming from inside the box, 1 from outside the box. But look, 8 with the left foot, 4 with the right foot, 2 with the head. So can score in all areas. And obviously a player who comes alive in the box. 3 assists, 4 big chances created, 81% passing accuracy as well, 77% in the opposition half. Not a huge amount of passes, though. As I said, doesn't necessarily get involved too much in the game. Probably more of a finisher, probably more someone who just lets everyone else do it, maybe gets involved towards the end of the move, and then is hopefully there for the finish. So this could be a player who I'd imagine is someone that Unai Emery looks at. You see what he's done with Ollie Watkins' game. Sometimes Watkins runs the channels, gets really involved, but other times he is very much just come alive in the box, don't really get involved too much in the play, to keep within the width of the penalty box. That could be this type of striker that could come in and just adapt to that style of play. So maybe one to watch there with that. And look, with younger players coming in like Redmond, and then a 22, 23-year-old that can be polished up into a much better player under Unai Emery could be the way to go. Now, we know that the goalkeeping department is another big area where we need to really consider getting another player. That's even if Emi Martinez stays with Aston Villa, because this is a vital area for us. And we've been looking at numerous goalkeepers. I think I've looked at Martin Bulka. We've looked at Joan Garcia, who seems to be the one on everyone's lips, who everyone wants to sign. Newcastle, even Barcelona, even. And Aston Villa have maybe turned their attention a little bit more towards. Now, this will be a familiar face to Aston Villa supporters from last season in the Conference League for Lille, Lucas Chevalier, and he had a phenomenal 2 legs against Aston Villa, and for my money was a fantastic goalkeeper, and did really well in those 2 games. And obviously that's not a huge sample size, but he's incredibly highly rated across Europe. And I think they talk about 40 million euros that Lille want for him, and he's only 23 years of age, 6'2", and has played for Lille 99 times. Also went on loan to Valenciennes for 30 games and has represented France from under 16s up to under 21 level, and also featured in the Olympic Games playing 1 game. So I'd imagine he's pretty close again to a full cap for France, and I would really like us to sign this goalkeeper. I think if all the attention's going on Joan Garcia, this could be a real steal for Aston Villa to get this goalkeeper in. And for me, I think he would be a real adequate replacement for Emi Martinez. From, like I say, from what I saw, and people can get in the comments and let me know your thoughts. He looked strong. He looked like a leader. He could claim crosses. He made great saves and was pretty good off the floor as well. So for me, a really good goalkeeper. And yeah, I'd be really impressed if we could sign him. And whether that be to really put competition and really push Emi Martinez, that would be great. But I imagine it would be to sign as a replacement for Emi Martinez, who I do believe is looking like he's on his way out of the club. So watch this space with Chevalier. That could be a really interesting one to watch out for. Now, another exciting player is Neil El Aynayoui, who plays for Lens, and there's been a lot of talk about him being wanted by Aston Villa. And he's a Moroccan midfielder, attacking midfielder, 23 years of age, and plays for Lens, 9 goals in 49 league games. Also played for Nancy, 6 goals in 67 league games, and hasn't been yet fully capped by Morocco. So that's an interesting one, why he hasn't yet. He's only played for the under-23s once. So I'm not sure why that is. But for me, looks like a really good player, and could, I think, fit into Emery's style in terms of, that ability on the ball, positioning, can play defensive midfield, can play central midfield, can get around the pitch. And is he, again, we talked about a couple of players last week that Boubacar Kamara hasn't yet signed that contract. Is this a player who is being looked at as a potential replacement for Kamara. Played in the French league, can get around the pitch, can win the ball back, can also score goals, though. Has got 8 goals in 17 starts this season, which is a pretty decent record. All 8 from inside the box. So someone who makes late runs into the box, 2 with his head, 6 with his right foot, 1 assist, 3 big chances created. Really high possession stats, 88% in terms of accuracy, 91% in his own half, 80% in the opposition half, 1.3 interceptions, 1.6 tackles, 3.8 ball recovery. So really good sort of box-to-box all-round midfielder. So this could be an option. We talked about Habib Diarra, that was potentially we were looking at him last week. So there's obviously a list there. There's obviously players there that we're looking at that might fit the bill if we were to sell someone like Boubacar Kamara if he can't agree on a new contract. Now, what does Gus get in Europa League mean for Kamara in terms of his options and what he might want to do? Does he commit to Aston Villa and look to hopefully get us Europa League glory and get back in the Champions League, or does he look to chance his arm at a potential Champions League side? For me, I love Boubacar Kamara. I think he's probably, on his day, he's our best player in our team, but there has been that question mark over some of the away games. Has he got a big enough character? Can he impose himself on the game enough? PSG away from home, Newcastle away from home, Manchester United away from home. He hasn't imposed himself and controlled that midfield as we have needed him to do. Now, for me, that is an area where he really needs to improve. So if we let him go, I'll be really sad. If we get big money in, great. That softens the blow. But that is something that I'll be looking for him to do to improve on for next season with his experience and to push us on and be the leader in that midfield for us next season. But yeah, Aynayoui is an interesting one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And finally, a player who we talked about, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and this one has only just come back today. Apparently, we've made a 25 million euro bid already for Michael Amir Murillo. Now of Marseille, also has played for Anderlecht, also has played for New York Red Bulls. 29 years of age, though. It does seem a strange one. Panama international, 80 caps for Panama. Has played 46 times for Marseille, 107 times for Anderlecht, and 45 times for New York Red Bulls. Maybe a bit of a late bloomer, so might have 2 or 3 years in him, only at 29. So that's an interesting one to see why we're looking at someone like that to come in and not say, to keep pushing on with Andre Garcia, or has Emery seen enough now of Matty Cash? Because look, we know how much of an all-hearted player he is, 100% man. But if we're wanting to really push on, if we're wanting someone to take, again, responsibility in a game and not cut back all the time, maybe be a bit more dynamic up and down that right-hand side, perhaps someone like Amir Murillo could be the player. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments, because I'm not seeing enough of him. But 29 years of age, is that the right profile? He can play centre-back as well, can play midfield. Is that someone who we're looking at to come in? If you look at his heat map, yeah, he gets up, but does he get right up into that area where we want our attacking right-backs to get? I'm not too sure. 1 goal this season from 27 appearances. Obviously not there for scoring goals, but only 3 assists and 4 big chances created. Is that enough for someone who we're looking to really attack down that right-hand side? I mean, Cash has had assists this season. Think about the Arsenal game with his left foot. He's created chances. So is he going to be enough of an upgrade on a Matty Cash that we're looking for? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Passing accuracy looks very good. It's been a part of 3 clean sheets, 4.6 ball recoveries a game. To me, looking at the stats and looking at the age profile, he's not convincing me. And for 25 million euros, I think there's probably more value out there. But like I say, you let me know your thoughts in the comments. But a few different ones there to discuss. Obviously, really good news that we're signing some of the top young talent from across Europe in Zepequino Redmond. Lucas Chevalier, he really excites me as the goalkeeper. I think I would go all out to sign him. Emegha, is he an answer up front? Neil Aynayoui, is he the answer in midfield as well, or could he be an option if Boubacar Kamara leaves? And Michael Amir Murillo, I'm sure we'll see other right backs linked, but is he someone that you would sign for 25 million? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We'll be back on Wednesday night for the Villa Park Pod end of season review, and we'll check out what our predictions were at the start of the season and see if anyone was right. So make sure you stay tuned for that show. And I'll also be back with plenty of transfer rumour shows because it doesn't look like it's stopping up until this June the 30 deadline. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, get your comments and your thoughts on who we're linked to right now. Thank you all for watching. And as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.